So, my cousin's dog's girlfriend is an employee from Nintendo, and they wanted me to make a Pokemon game. And we have four different mechanisms introduced into this game. It's Mega Evolution, Z-Moves, Regional Variants, Dynamax, Gigantamax. Obviously, these were all in part of the newer generation of Pokemon games, starting from Gen 6. Now, I've been given the assignment of introducing these mechanics into my new game, Pokemon Up Your Ass. And they told me you can only pick three of these, and one of them cannot be in your game. Which one would I'm gonna pick? Let's find out right now. But first, let's talk about more about the controversial stuff that might go up from pretty much choosing each of these mechanics. So let's start with Mega Evolution. Now, personally, for me, Mega Evolution has always been one of my favorite. Partially because one, just a handful of Pokemon or exclusive amount of Pokemon get it. But the interesting thing about Mega Evolution is that we necessarily didn't get any new Mega Evolution Pokemon starting from Gen 7 and forward, even though there was a lot of speculation in regards to it, because they were somewhat not confirmed that they were in the same multiverse as Sun and Moon and Oras, all that's just theorizing, and I'm not here to confirm shit, because I know a lot of people say, well, your facts are wrong and shit. Well, you know what? I don't give a damn, because we're talking about new Pokemon mechanics and which ones will be in the game. So, starting off with Mega Evolutions, I always had a fond memory with Mega Evolutions. Primarily, Mega Rayquaza has been one of my favorites of all time, followed by Mega Salamence, Mega Blaziken, Mega Gyarados, Mega Tyranitar, Mega Swampert, Mega Camerupt, and the list goes on and on. Mega Medicham, woo, what a demon. So what's the benefits of having Mega Evolutions in the game? Well, it brings back a nostalgic factor, and I don't really do not like bringing nostalgia into any game, because I feel like if you want to make a fresh game, you don't have to rely on that nostalgic factor. But for a lot of people, Mega Evolutions has always been a endearing aspect of Pokemon, in which some forgotten Pokemon ended up getting the much needed boost in their reputation, and therefore they ended up getting some pretty cool designs. Some of them were better than the others. A lot of them were, in terms of stat-wise, has been dramatic and has changed the way that we've played Pokemon in Generation 6 and Generation 7. And it was for the good. It was for the better for some of these Pokemon. Obviously, some designs like the Lottie twins could have been a little better, to be honest with you. Or Mega Kangaskhan with a little baby. That's kind of cute, but maybe it could have been a lot better. Obviously, Pokemon like Charizard ended up getting... Good lord. They really got the design that they needed, man. And then you gotta look at Slowbro, yeah, I don't know about that. But design-wise, these were pretty good overall. Now, if we're gonna go more into a competitive aspect, with like talking about online play and unofficial formats, and official formats like VGC and so forth, they were most of the time pretty balanced, up until the point in VGC they started introducing Mega Rayquaza and the Primals, which technically Primals are not considered Mega Evolutions, even though they are essentially getting stat buffs and they're getting different designs. I would consider them Mega Evolutions. A lot of people won't. In this situation, I probably would consider them as Megas. They're not really. They're just Primals. Before people try to bite my neck off and saying you're wrong again. Well, guess what? It's my opinion, and I don't give a damn. People interpret things the way things can be interpreted. So there you go. Obviously, Mega Rayquaza is one of the most broken Pokemon of all time, as a matter of fact, because in certain formats it's pretty much banned because of its tremendous power, and is only one of the, I think it's the only Pokemon that can Mega Evolve without having an actual hold item like a Mega Stone. All these Pokemon require Mega Stones, and I think Mega Stones being reintroduced would be pretty cool. It prevents the Pokemon in itself getting knocked off, Trick, Switcheroo, and all that cool stuff, which adds a twist. In today's metagame, as Knockoff and Trick are pretty, not prevalent, but they are like a cornerstone in regards to a lot of competitive metagames. So I think, I'll let Megas into my new game. Why not? Like I said, a lot of Megas, stat-wise, have made Pokemon even more broken than they're supposed to. Like, for example, Blaziken with Speed Boost was already good, magnificent, but having it with more attack and a little bit of a speed boost, goddamn, make things a lot crazier. Mega Swampert, for example, help the rain archetype with the pretty much good ability in doubling speed and rain and all that good stuff. You got Mega Mawile, which is a demon. You have Lucario, who's a demon with adaptability. Beedrill, adaptability. Both Charizard forms was really good. Venusaur was really good. Poor Blastoise. Mega Launcher was okay. I'm just kidding. Mega Gengar, Mega Salamence, demons all around. Obviously you have other megas here too. You know what? I'll let that slide. And of course, Mega Diancie being, I think it's the only mythical in this group. Yeah, it is. It's the only mythical Pokemon to get a Mega Evolution. It was pretty cool. So yeah, I'll let Mega slide. I'll keep them in my game. Next up we have is Z Crystals. Now, obviously, these were introduced in Generation 7 as part of the Sun and Moon. What's unique about these crystals is that anyone can use Z crystals as long as the typing is appropriate to it. For example, if you're using a normal type move, you can use Normalium Z. And obviously, the power of these Z crystals depend on the base power of those specific moves, which I believe if a move is like at, I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it's been a while since I've played Gen 7. As a matter of fact, it's been like, what, 2-3 years since it got cut off from Sword and Shield. So, or actually no, 2 years, almost close to 2 years, because it lasted 2019. The max power a Z move can potentially have is 200, I believe, and obviously these specific ones, like such as Marshadium, all these can cap off like at 195, if I'm not mistaken. I know Marshadium Z, these have their own specific base power, but the rest of these have of course, their base power is dependent on the base power of their attacks. So, like, for example, if Victini wanted to use a Z V-Create, which is pretty funny to say, I think its base power, it would be 200, which I believe it caps off. I may be capping. It's either 190, 200. I don't remember off the top of my head anymore. It's been a while since I played these games. I think Z Crystals were... I kind of want to give them credit because it did make a Pokemon... essentially certain Pokemon break past their opponents. For example, say a Dugtrio has a problem of killing a Pokemon after it traps a Pokemon with Earthquake and all that, with Arena Trap, and you hit them with Earthquake, they don't kill. Well, now there's Groundium Z, which pretty much might guarantee a kill because it's a pretty powerful move. Or if you have Flying Z with Aerial Ace and all that good stuff, so that it pushes Dugtrio into another dimension in terms of offense. So Pokemon like that, you know, it makes certain Pokemon push their boundary into killing Pokemon that they're really not supposed to hit. I think the perfect one is Landorus with Flying Z against maybe like a fat grass type, such as Mega Venusaur or Tangrowth, which Pokemon that they don't really die from one hit from these Pokemon, but because of these moves, in combination to like Swords Dance or other stat boosting moves, and then it becomes a problem. Volcarona has the same thing too with Hurricane, Psychic and all that, able to kill Psychic like Toxapex and all that good stuff after +1. With Psychium Z, pretty much kills it from full, depending on obviously stat spreads and all that. But in terms of Z moves, I am a little conflicted because at certain moments in Gen 7, Z crystals or certain Z crystals on certain Pokemon, it was too much of an overkill. I think, for example, Kyurem Black, with the ability to use Icium Z, pretty much was a guaranteed nuke because of its tremendous stat spread, obviously an attack stat, but also it's just a nuke just waiting to happen. And a lot of Pokemon like Landorus, certain Pokemon that are super offensive, basically get a one-turn kill because of these moves, in part by Z crystals. Now, just like Mega Stones and Mega Evolution in general, these cannot be knocked off, they cannot be tricked, and they cannot be switcherooed or whatever. Basically, the item cannot disappear from the Pokemon. Once the Pokemon uses this item, you can't use Z crystals anymore, which is pretty cool. Megas last forever until they faint, or it's the end of the battle when you win or lose, and pretty much Z crystals, they stay with you to the end of time, to the end of the battle essentially. You only get to use one Z crystal per battle. It got really interesting to the point where Pokemon in Ultra Sun and Moon, we ended up getting specific Z crystals for Pokemon. For example, and I believe Ultra Sun and Moon, we ended up getting Como Z Crystal, which allows it to get +1 speed. Well, not even +1 speed, +1 in all of its stats, which is pretty amazing for Como. You know, it missed, like certain Pokemon like Como, like I said, they needed that push to make them really good, and Z Crystals was part of the solution. Um, to me personally, I don't think Z Crystals are necessarily broken. It could be broken on the wrong Pokemon though. Like Pokemon with amazing offensive stats tend to take advantage of Z Crystals and just push their opponents to the edge to make it not necessarily broken, but it makes things a lot more interesting. And the good thing I like about crystals is that Z Crystals bring out the unpredictability out of Pokemon. You never know who's running a Z Crystal. You never know what kind of Z Crystal it is. Is it a specific? Is it for a specific counter, or is it you know, something very obvious? And you have to be careful to play around with. So, you know what? In my game, I probably keep Z Crystals. Even like the more broken Marshadium Z, but that obviously depends if Marshadow's in my game. So, I think Z Crystals are okay. Why not? Let's give it a pass. Next up we have is Dynamax. Wow. I mean, if you recall, if you were part of my channel from almost 2 years ago when Sword and Shield came out, I was a heavy opponent for Dynamax. I did not like Dynamax at all. And if you guys did not play Gen 8 or you've been living under a rock for 2 years, pretty much what Dynamax is, your Pokemon becomes big, hollow projections with Dynamax, filled with Dynamax energy, and essentially their moves themselves, all the moves become Z Crystals, with the non-attacking moves becoming status moves. Well, non-attacking status moves, I should say, become Max Protect, which basically you get protected from max attacks. And essentially, like I said, all your attacks become Z Crystals with secondary effects. So for example, Max Lightning, electric attacks. It's depending on the base power of the move. They can be as high as 140, 150, depending if it's a Gigantamax, which also is another variation of Dynamax. But pretty much, Dynamax moves have secondary effects. For example, if you hit someone with Max Lightning, you get electric terrain effect. If you hit somebody with Max Geyser, which is essentially the water type attack, you get a weather-induced rain, or rain-induced effects, which is pretty cool. But I think what's really broken about Dynamax is you have the possibility of boosting your Pokemon's HP, base HP, to double. So if you have, let's say, level 10 Dynamax energy on your Pokemon, if let's say, for example, it has 180, I guess at level 50, or let's say at level 100 it has like 300 HP. If you Dynamax, it has the possibility or the potential of hitting 600 HP, which is double. That's crazy. Like, that's absolutely broken. I personally, when I played Sword and Shield online with Dynamax was around, I mean, it is around, but I'm talking about like unofficial formats, it was pretty broken. And the problem with a lot of Dynamax users nowadays is that it pretty much centralized a lot of metagames. For example, what happened was, let's say Hawlucha takes advantage of that, because now Hawlucha, with, you know, its seed, because of its inducing like secondary effects, becomes even more problematic, and it starts becoming a sweeper that you cannot kill in one hit. Then you got like Gyarados, who has a plethora of move pools they can take advantage of and just start killing Pokemon, get that Moxie speed boost and all that. With, you know, with Dragon Dance and all that, and then Moxie just pretty much makes it even worse and worse and worse. It hits harder every turn it kills a Pokemon, and just pretty much just auto win at that point. And then the surgence of Ditto. Ditto was like literally on everyone's team to counter Dynamax Pokemon, which was a sign of an unhealthy metagame. Now, obviously, I'm talking about unofficial, so don't come at my throat saying, "Well, you're wrong. I was not." No, I'm not talking about VGC. I'm not talking about online battles. I'm just saying, in unofficial formats like Smogon, they were pretty much, it was a pretty much unhealthy mechanic, and I didn't really see the correlation with Dynamax in regards to the Pokemon story. If you're that kind of person, Dynamax to me doesn't make any sense. Like, where does the energy come from? I know it comes from Galar region, but it doesn't really specifically say where it come from and how does it turn into like tie together with Dynamax energy. It was so weird. Like, I get Z Crystals, the story of Z Crystals and Mega Evolutions, which was a pretty complex and perplexing story at the same time, but Dynamax was just something out of left field. And if I was to make a game, I would not introduce Dynamax. Now, there's Gigantamax as well, which you see this Gengar here changing forms as it gets bigger and bigger on the Dynamax energy. I liked Gigantamax in that aspect, giving certain Pokemon specific features that change during the game. Like, for example, like Gengar. Gengar looks pretty damn awesome, especially in its shiny form in Gigantamax. But the mechanic in general, just to me, didn't click. I can't relate to it. It's a weird way of saying it. I think Dynamax would go. I don't think it would be in my game whatsoever. It's just to me, if you play doubles, of course you might want to keep Dynamax. I think it's pretty safe to say that Dynamax in doubles is relatively safe. But unlike its compatriots with Z Crystals or its counterparts, I should say, with Z Crystals and Mega Evolutions in singles formats, Dynamax is kind of stupid. Hey, I could be wrong, you could be wrong, you could be right, I could be right, but to each his own. It's my game. I'll say, yeah, I'll pass up on Dynamax. Last but not least, we got regional variants. Now, I love me some regional variants. It gives a lot of Pokemon a bunch of love. I really, like, from this screen alone. Am I tripping? I feel like there should be more regional variants. Yeah, I think there should be more regional variants on the screen. I'm missing some, because I don't see Mr. Mine and all that, so, yeah. Like, just by looking at this screen in general, like, I love Alolan Ninetales, I love Alolan Pikachu, Alolan Marowak, Alolan Muck. I just say Pikachu, I'm an idiot. Alolan Raichu. I love Galarian, Slowbro, and Slowking. I don't see Slowking on this image. It's probably like an old image. There is a Obstagoon, or Lailoon in this case. Pretty cool. Of course, Cursola. Pretty damn cool Pokemon. Or Galarian Corsola, which becomes Cursola. There is Sirfetch when it evolves from the Galarian Farfetch, and then the big boy Don himself, Galarian Darmanitan. Overall, I love regional variants. It brings a more variety into Pokemon that really didn't get love over the years, or some of them had gotten love, but they've seemed to fall off due to the power creep of certain Pokemon that share within that same region. I like regional variants, like I said, it brings more spice to the variety of Pokemon that already exist. And surprising enough, in Sword and Shield, these two groups of Pokemon, the Galarian and Alolan, were pretty prevalent in the game, even with the DLC rolling around. And I thought, you know what? A lot of variants of Pokemon, I feel like there should be more. You know, there was like, when Gen 7 was around the corner, there was a lot of rumors about different variants of Tyranitar, Arcanine, Pokemon that tend to be everyone's favorite, and people just wanted more variations. I say, hell yeah, I would rather put those in my game. So, yeah, that's pretty much the video there. Let me know what you guys think. What mechanics would you like to keep in the game? Which ones you guys do not like? If you want the Sparks Notes version of my video, I would say probably Dynamax gotta go. But anyways, guys, it's your boy Franklin, and like I mentioned, go ahead and show out in the comments which mechanic, if you were to make a new Pokemon game, would you keep, and which one gotta go. Let me know what you guys think. It's your boy Franklin signing out. Peace. Also, disclaimer, it's just an opinion, man. Don't attack me because I'm wrong. It's just an opinion. I'm making a new game. Nintendo gave me the funds to make a new game. Alright? Thank you guys so much for all the support. Like and subscribe. Peace.